Okay, so today we're going to do Unit 2, Day 11, which is just reviewing the slope and the y-intercept. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, identify the slope and the y-intercept. Well, you should know that the y-intercept is the number without the x. So in this situation, it will be 5. And the slope is the number in front of the x, which is negative 4. Remember, if there's a negative in front of the number, it belongs to it. So here, it will be a negative 4, okay? Number 2, if you wanted to write out y equals mx with b, you could do that. The y-intercept is the number without the letter, also known as the b, so that's negative 3. And the slope is the letter m, which is the number in front of the x, which is 0.5. Now, number 3, anytime you're looking for the slope, you have to do the right side over the left side. Okay, so we got to start out with the patterns of the right side and then the patterns of the left side. So let's start. Negative 4.25 minus negative 0.5 gives me negative 3.75. Negative 0.5 minus 0.25 gives me negative 0.75. 0.25 minus 4 is negative 3.75. 4 minus 4.75 is negative 0.75, and the last one is 4.75 minus 7 gives me negative 2.25. Then on the other side, 5 minus 0 is 5. 0 minus negative 1 is 1. Negative 1 minus negative 6 is 5. Negative 6 minus negative 7 is 1. And negative 7 minus negative 10 is 3. So if you set up your slopes, you will start off with the very bottom one, which is negative 3.75 divided by 5, negative 0.75 divided by 1, then negative 3.75 over 5, I already have that, so I don't have to copy it down again. Negative 0.75 over 1, I already have that, don't have to copy it down again. And negative 2.25 over 3. Now, if you simplify all of these numbers, you will come out with negative 0.75 as your slope. Okay? And as for the y-intercept, I'll write the y-intercept right here. It's going to be negative 0.5 because it's where the x equals 0. So the y-intercept is negative 0.5. Okay? You can work out number 4 on your own. If you have any questions, let me know. For number 5, let's find the slope and the y-intercept. So let's start out with the easy one, the y-intercept. It's where the line touches the x-axis. Where the line touches the y-axis. And in this case, it will be 0. Now, as for the slope, remember you do the rise over the run. So I'm going to choose this point right there and this point. So you rise 110, and then you run 2. So 110 divided by 2 is 55. Okay, next one. Let's start off with the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, which will be at 1. The slope is just the rise over the run. So I'm going to choose this point and this point. Now, if you notice, it's going downstairs. So that means my slope has to be negative. So I went ahead and added that negative sign in there so I won't forget. Now let's count the rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the run is 1. So negative 5 is my slope for that one. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Find the slope of those 2 points. Anytime they give you 2 points and ask you for the slope, put them in the table. So negative 5, negative 1, 0, negative 1. Now, all you have to do is find the pattern of each side. -1 minus -1 is 0. 0 minus -5 is 5. So remember, you do the right side over the left side. So 0 over 5. 0 divided by 5 is just 0. Now for the other one, I will do 0, 9, 0, -1. So -1 minus -9 is -10. Okay? Or -1 minus 9 is -10. 0 minus 0 is 0. So you would do the right side over the left side. So -10 over 0. Anytime you have a 0 at the bottom of the fraction, automatically you know it's undefined. So the slope for these 2 points are undefined. Okay, graph the following function. So let's do it using the m and the b. So the m is -5 and the y-intercept is 0. So I will start off by putting my y-intercept down so it will be at 0. And then I'm going to use my -5 to apply the next point. But remember, this is a slope, so I need to change this -5 into a fraction. So I would just put a 1 under it. Anytime I want to change a whole number, whether it be positive or negative, to a fraction, I need to put a 1 under it. So now I know that the rise is 5 and the run is 1. And I'm going downstairs because it's negative. So let's go ahead and do this. Rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then run 1. Then rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run 1. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then run 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run 1. And there you go. There is my line. And of course, you can connect the dots using a ruler, a straight edge, whatever you can use to connect the dots. And put arrowheads on there to indicate that this line goes on forever. So anyways, there's the graph for number 8. You can do number 9 is exactly the same thing as number 8. And of course, number 10 is the table linear. And why? Well, anytime you think about linear, if it's linear, you think about slope. So if it has a constant slope, then it's linear. No constant slope, nonlinear. Okay? So let's see if it has the same slope all across the board. 10 minus 9 is 1, 9 minus 8 is 1, 8 minus 1 is 7. Now on the other side, 5 minus 1 is 4, 1 minus 0 is 1, 0 minus -2 is 2. So remember, it's the right side over the left side for the slope. Okay? So now we would do 1 over 4, 1 over 1, 7 over 2. This becomes 0.25, this becomes 1, and this becomes 3.5. Obviously, this is not the same slope, so it's not linear. Because it does not have a constant slope. Or, in other words, it doesn't have the same slope. Okay? So, of course, if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to ask me in class the next day. Okay?